So this is my client. Her name's Anna, and she's 18 months old. She's very irritable. She cries a great deal. She does not like taking a bath. She's not walking yet, but she's able to sit and crawl. She likes to be carried everywhere. She cries in her stroller and her car seat. She's overwhelmed by light-up and musical toys. During Mommy and Me class, she sits on her mom's lap and does not explore with the other children, rather just observes them. And she gags and cries with lumpy food, so she'll only accept finely pureed food in her bottle. So there's a lot going on with Anna that we can address with some sensory equipment. And so before I get into that, there's some things that I need to first check with my client. So the first thing is seizure precautions. If my client has uncontrolled seizures that are triggered by visual or vestibular input, then using a swing would not be appropriate. But if those seizures are controlled by medication, then using a swing in one plane would be okay. Also, if her seizures were not triggered by visual or vestibular input or stimuli, then using a swing again in a single plane would also be okay. The other things that we need to check with our client is their vestibular precautions. If I'm unsure about my client's vestibular registration, then I would definitely want to start slowly with any swinging motions and just go in one single linear plane, wait about 20 minutes of doing that and see how they react and if they're having any adverse reactions to that vestibular stimuli. So those are two things that are super important before you put any client on a swing or any vestibular sort of equipment. And so the first swing that I chose for little Anna is the platform swing. So we're gonna have Anna right here. I'm still, within distance from her, and I'm gonna set this swing up. And so first thing I want to do is, before I set the swing up, is I want to make sure that all the equipment is good. I'm going to do that about once a month and make sure that everything's okay and doesn't need to be replaced, just so we know that the swing is going to be secure on there when we hook it up. And so some of the equipment that we use is a rotary, what do you call it? A rotary hanger and a carabiner and a height adjuster. So when using the carabiner, you want to make sure that it's facing upwards. And I'm going to demonstrate now how I would hang up the platform swing. So since the platform swing is a little bit heavy, I'm going to go ahead and want to put it underneath my arm. So I'm maintaining good body mechanics, not doing a lot of bending and lifting, using my legs to lift things and all of that. And so I can bring the height adjuster down to hook on the carabiner and then lift the height up once it's hung. So we're going to go ahead and do that, and I'm keeping this under my arm, or I can rest it against my legs. And let's see. So I have this, bring the height adjuster down and hook it onto the carabiner facing up. There we go. And so now it's lifted up, and you want the height to be about where the client's knees are, or like just below their knees, so they're able to independently get on. So with the platform swing, I chose to use a bean bag, and this bean bag will be good for Anna to give her that proprioceptive feedback that she seems to be seeking. So we're gonna go ahead and get Anna up on the swing now, and I'm gonna want her to try and do it herself, so I'm gonna help instruct her. So Anna, swing, yay! Swing up, up, bend, 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 good, good, up, good, scoop, 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 good, hold on, good. So now she's on the swing. We're gonna just do slow, light swinging, give her a little bit of vestibular sensory input, but we don't want to do too much because she seems to kind of be a sensory avoider, so we don't want to overwhelm her, but hopefully that proprioceptive feedback is kind of soothing her while we're doing this, so we can get her exposed to some things. And so when I swing her, I'm going to use the rope that's here to swing her lightly back and forth. Swing, swing, yay, good, fun, good. And so that would be how we would use the platform swing with the beanbag. Now another option that I have for Anna is using the platform swing with weighted equipment, because that can also apply some proprioceptive feedback and give her that kind of soothing effect that she maybe gets when her mom's holding her, so we can get her engaged in some activities. And so I would get her off first, off, down, lay, okay, good, good. And so we could replace the beanbag with her just sitting back on, and I would have her get on the same way I did before, and instead of having the beanbag, instead maybe we can have one of those weighted toys in her lap, and she can have it sitting on her lap, or maybe if there's like kind of a more like a weighted vest or something, we can put it over her shoulders. And then while we're doing this, she can be seated on the swing, and we could have her engage in some activities like reaching activities, to help work on her postural control and core strengthening, because she is delayed in walking, and so we kind of want to work on that postural stability. So yeah, we could do some reaching activities, maybe have some toys out here, and that would also help maybe get her to engage in some exploratory play, since she seems to not really do that much. So that's the platform swing, and so we're going to go ahead and get on the off, off, good, leg down, good. And another thing that I want to mention is whenever we're having a child on a swing, we want to make sure that she is fully surrounded by mats for safety, so on the sides and behind, and then I'll be in front of her, and I can be there also to support her, just in case something happens and we have a fun little spill off the swing. She has some padding and she won't get hurt. And so I'm going to go ahead and take the platform swing down. I would do the same thing where I would put it under my arm, bring the height adjuster down, and then unhook the carabiner. And so that was the first piece of equipment. The second piece of equipment that I recommend for Anna is the cuddle swing, also known as the cocoon swing. And this would be really good for Anna because it applies that deep proprioceptive pressure and input to give her that comfort that she seems to seek out from being held by her mom. And so with this one, it's not as heavy as the other one, but still we want to maintain good body mechanics when we're hanging it up on the carabiner. And so I'm going to go ahead and make sure that I'm not bending or anything, and go ahead and hang it up here. And we want this to be at their knees, below their knees. So I'm going to go ahead and just adjust the height so it's a bit lower for her so she can get in and out on her own. There we go. Okay. Ooh. And so, Anna, swing, in, swing. Good. Okay. Turn. Arm in, butt in, good. Legs in, good. Anna in, yay! And so now we have Anna. She's in the cocoon swing, feeling all cozy and comfortable. And while she's in this swing, we can also engage in activities where she's peeking out, reaching, a little game of peekaboo where she's having to engage her core. That's another way that we can work on core strengthening and postural stability to hopefully get her walking. And so yeah, that's the cocoon swing. And we're gonna go ahead and get baby Anna out. And so when we get out, we're gonna do arms first. Arms out. Good. Arms out. Leg out. Good. Leg out. Butt out. Good. Anna out. And so that is the cocoon swing. And again, when I take it down, I'm going to just make sure I'm using good body mechanics and unfit the carabiner. Okay, so that was the two swings that I selected for Anna with the weighted equipment and the proprioceptive feedback. Something else that I chose for Anna was a physio ball, and so the physio ball would be good for Anna, and I can demonstrate how I would get her on. So I'm going to go ahead and again we're going to have all those mats around us surrounding, and I'll be in front of her, and we're going to have her go ahead and kind of scoop her butt back so her butt's basically touching it, kind of sitting on it. And I'm going to go Anna, on, okay, roll on, and we're going to go ahead and roll her on so she's on the back. And I'm going to go ahead and stabilize her at her pelvis, and this is going to be good for her because it provides it's a way to ease into providing that vestibular and sensory input. Since she is a sensory avoider, we don't want to overwhelm her too much, so this is a good way to ease into it. And so while she's on it, we could do some bouncing, and that can provide some good proprioceptive feedback. And we can do, ready, Anna, bounce, 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 and bounce the ball. Yay, bounce, bounce, bounce. We could also have her do some activities in front of her, some reaching. We can go ahead and roll her a little bit side to side, forward and backwards. That vestibular stimulation. And I thought that while she's on this ball, if she seems to not be getting enough proprioceptive feedback and it's making her cry and irritable, we can again introduce maybe some weighted equipment on her lap. That's not too big. Again, 20% of her weight, 20 minutes on, 20 minutes off, and this can just get her engaged in activities and maybe some exploratory play with some toys in front of the ball. So yeah, that is the physio ball. We're going to go ahead and get her